you. Oh, you guys are going to try not to talk to me? That's definitely not going to happen. So let's get settled in again. How are you guys this morning? Amazing. I am so excited to be here. Thank you, Tommy and team, for having me here and taking such good care of me. I'm excited because, one, this is my hometown. I actually live in Frisco, so I'm just 45 minutes away from here. But it's also, this is like a very exciting day because today is also Diwali, and that is the celebration of good over evil, where the light drives out the darkness. So it's a big holiday for us Indians, and we're celebrating tonight. So very excited to be here on an auspicious day. So it's good luck that we're all in this room together. So first and foremost, happy Diwali to all of you. And you may or may not know, we're also in the middle of like a really big election happening right now. And this is all I'll say about that. This morning, I saw that Texas is now kind of like up for grabs a little bit. So regardless of how you're voting, please get out and vote if you haven't yet. And that's all I'll say about politics. Do I have a clicker for my slides? No? Yes? Maybe? Do I have a clicker, though, to move them? Oh, there's no clicker available. Okay, we will make this work. All right, well, I'm Veena, Jetti. For those of you that don't know me, I am the founder of a company called Vive Funds. Can you move to the next slide, please? I'm the founder of a company called Vive Funds. We are large multifamily owner-operators. Like Tommy said, I've transacted on over $1 billion of multifamily assets in my own portfolio. I also, thank you. I'm also a contributor to Forbes, Yahoo Finance. Basically, if you Google me, you'll find me in all the places. You can't escape me, okay? I also have bought not just $1 billion in my own portfolio. Prior to that, I come from the corporate real estate world where I also manage over $1 billion there. This asset is Arcadia Cove. This is a very special asset to me, not just because it's the asset that took us over the $1 billion mark, but more importantly, last year, this was the largest all-woman-led transaction in the entire country. Thank you. I have to say, I love this room because I see so much diversity and so many women in this room, and it's not often that I get to speak to so many women, so thank you for being here. Thank you. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the growth mindset. You heard Tommy say it's one of my favorite sayings. This 6 inches of real estate here is the hardest real estate you will ever manage, but it's the most important real estate you'll ever manage. It's important because without being able to see what's in the future, it's really hard for us to be able to execute on those things. Our mind is so incredibly powerful. And so what I wanted to share with you today, and I'm sorry, you guys, I don't know why the formatting messed up in the download, so we'll just, again, work through this, right? So every day I have 3 daily goals for my kids because it is so important for me to instill a growth mindset in them and an abundance mindset in them from a young age because no one did that for me intentionally. My parents did that unintentionally, but they weren't intentional about it. And I always wonder if I could go back and my parents knowing what they know today and they could have purposefully instilled that concept into me, how much more could I have done? So, you know, I'm breaking that generational cycle, right? And I'm instilling this in my kids. How many parents in the room? A lot of parents? Okay, great. So I'm going to share with you the 3 daily goals I have for my kids. You guys can do this with your kids, but you can also do it with yourself, and it's super easy to implement. You can literally walk out of here today starting to do these 3 simple things. So the first one is learn something. Okay, this is like super simple and easy, but the reason I want my children to learn something every single day is because I want them to remain curious. Okay, we stop growing when we're not curious. And so I want my girls to learn something, and I tell them that they can learn anything. It doesn't have to be like, I know I'm Indian, but they don't have to learn math or spelling, okay? They can learn those things, right? But they don't have to learn those things. They can learn any fun fact. The other day, my daughter comes home and goes, Mommy, I learned a new word today. And I go, great. I'm like scared to ask, but I'm like, what's the new word you learned? Because she's brought some other 4-letter words she's learned home that I'm not very excited about. And she goes, Mommy, I learned the word confidence. And I go, great, baby, like, what does that mean? And, you know, we start talking about it, and it opens up a lot of dialogue and discussion, right? And when I talk to my kids, I'm very intentional with them. I'm not on my phone when I'm talking to them. I want my children to know that at any given moment, there is nothing more important than them. So I put my phone down. Anytime my daughters start talking to me, I put my phone down. If you've been around me and my children, you know this too. If my daughters are talking to me, I don't let adults interrupt me for attention. I get down at their level and I go, hi, baby. Tell me what confidence means. I'm so proud of you, right? Because I want to connect with them. I want them to know that I am their safe space. I will always be their home, right? Because that's a solid foundation. We heard Dr. E talk about trauma, right? And this is how we can create those healthy bonds with our kids. So every day we're going to learn something. Yes? Everyone on board? Okay, well, you guys are already going to cheat and do that today because you're here at this conference, and there's so much information that's going to be shared today. You cannot walk out of here without learning something new, so congratulations. Some of the crucial skills that you should be learning are how to speak on stages, okay? That has added more money to my portfolio than I can even count. Okay, so you need to learn how to speak on stages. You need to learn how to connect authentically. You need to learn how to add value. That's how all business is done, by adding value to someone else. I tell my girls all the time, listen, if you want to be rich, solve problems for rich people. And the bigger the problem you solve, the more money you get paid. Right? That's what I do. I solve problems for rich people. They have tax problems. They have deployment problems. They don't know how to deploy or where to deploy their money. So they come to me. Okay? And also fearlessly failing. Okay, these are all things that are important for our kids to know. Second goal of the day, help someone. Okay, and this is actually inspired by Warren Buffett, who's one of like the greatest investors of all time, right? He said, if you are lucky enough to be in the 1%, it is your responsibility to look out for the 99%. And this is especially important for me to instill in my children because they didn't earn their way here. They just won the birth lottery. Right? Like, they haven't worked. And I remind them of this daily, too, right? They'll be like, oh, Sissy is in my bed. And I'm like, no, you don't have any money. That's not your bed. That's mommy and daddy's bed. We let you borrow it because we love you, but that's not your bed. That's my bed. And she's like, oh, but Sissy, I'm like, yeah, I want to share with Sissy, too. It's my choice. If you want your own bed, go out and get a job and you work hard, and then you could buy your own bed and you don't have to share it with anyone. They're 5, by the way. Did I tell you guys this? Okay. So, there's not a whole lot of practicality around the things I'm telling them yet, but they'll get there eventually. But every day I want them to look for opportunities to help someone. So in my mind, when I started doing this, I thought it would be like, oh, I helped my sister by picking up her laundry and putting it into the hamper for her. That's like not really what they do. They're like, oh, I helped Sissy because I didn't push her when she was walking down the stairs. So we're working through it, right? But every day I want them to help someone because I want them to look for opportunities to add value to somebody else without expecting anything in return. Okay? You're not adding value if I give you something and I expect something back, right? Then I'm creating a transaction. And that's okay too. You can be transactional, but first you have to value the relationship. And the way to do that is to selflessly give to someone else. It's the same reason why when you guys send me an Instagram DM and you ask me a question, I respond back to it. I don't have any expectation from it. I do it because someone helped me once too, and I want to be that person. That's how I want to show up in this world, and that's the legacy I want to leave for my daughters. Okay? And the people on this next slide, I feel like we should have a signal when I jump. That's how we know we're ready for the next slide. The 2 individuals on this slide are absolutely individuals that have helped me greatly. This is Jen Gottlieb right here. She wrote a book called Be Seen. If you've not read it yet, I highly recommend you read it. It's a phenomenal book. And this is Dan Fleischman, who is probably one of the greatest marketers of all time. And both of them have poured value into me endlessly. They've helped me. I've helped them. We help each other, not because of an expectation of a financial return, but because we want to help see each other win. We're friends. We want to grow together. Okay? If your friends are not helping you win, you need new friends. And I'll tell you, 5 years ago, I was not like this because I didn't invest into my mindset. Okay? I was scared. I was operating out of scarcity and fear. And so someone would ask me, hey, Veena, you structured a deal like this. How did you do that? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, I don't really know. I knew. I just didn't want to tell you in case you went and did it and then you were better than me and now all of a sudden there's not enough for me. And that's true. And I'm not proud of it, but I think it's important because I think it demonstrates that today I live by this quote, right? A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. In fact, you just double the amount of light you have. Right? And so imagine there's 150, 200 people in this room right now. Imagine if we all helped light each other's candle. We'd definitely be against fire code and burn the whole building down, but we would all be better for it, right? And so I encourage you to lead with abundance and to think in abundance, because when you give more, you get more. And if you start looking for examples of this, you will find it. Okay, so the third goal I have for the girls is the one that's the most surprising for people. Fail at something. I ask my daughters to fail at something every single day. Okay, and the reason I do this is because the fear of failure will kill more dreams than anything else will. And I don't want my girls to be afraid of trying the hard thing. So every day when I ask them to fail at something, what I'm really asking them to do is try something you don't think you can do yet. Right? And when they say, oh, I can't do this, and I go, no, you can't do this yet, but you haven't practiced. Right? Like, you haven't bought $1 billion of real estate yet, but you haven't put in the work that I've put in yet. Right? But you can do that. You just have to be willing to do the hard work to get there. So every day I ask my girls, fail at something. And when they come home and they tell me that they failed at something, I don't just say, oh, good job. I celebrate it like they told me they just walked on the moon. Okay, so I have one of my daughters. And some of you in this room know my daughter, so you'll know exactly which one I'm talking about. She's either going to be the future president or a dictator. I don't know which. I'm really nice to her in case she's a dictator, okay? My husband's like, it'll be fine. We just have to support her and, not care about democracy. And it's like, okay, babe, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? So I don't worry about her because she's so tough. She's so resilient. And so I play, there's a game called Spot It. I don't know if any of you have young kids, but there's a game called Spot It. It's like kind of like a memory game that's fast-paced, whatever. I like games. I'm very high competition, so I like games. And so I play with her, and I tell her, I'm not going to take it easy on you. So if you think you're going to win just because I'm your mommy and I love you, you're wrong. I love you, but I'm not going to let you win. And so she'll play with me. She's good. She's really good. And I actually am trying my hardest, and I don't always win against her. But when we first started playing it, we were playing it, and then I beat her. And I go, yes, I am the champion. I destroyed you. And she's like horrified, right? Because she was like 4 at the time. And she goes, Mommy. And I go, what? And she goes, I failed at something just now. And I'm like, I'm like relishing in my win right now, baby. I can't celebrate your failure. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, oh my gosh, baby, you're right. You did a great job failing. You tried so hard. You didn't try hard enough because you didn't beat me, but you tried. And she goes, you know what, Mommy? We're playing again, and I'm going to beat you this time. I go, I don't think you will, but let's try. So we play again, and I beat her again. She goes, okay, Mommy, I am doing a really good job at failing today. And I go, yeah, you are. She goes, I want to play again because I'm going to beat you this next time. I go, okay. And I go, how are you going to beat me this next time? Because you just did the same thing twice and lost to me twice. And she goes, this time, she's like, I'm going to concentrate really hard on just a few of them, and I'm going to try to win with just a few of them. And I go, that's a great strategy. That's what I do too, and that's how I've been beating you. Because my job as her parent is not to tell her things, right? It's to be her co-pilot. It's to help her learn the skills she needs to grow. And I've already done it because her mindset is, I want to try again so I can win. I want her to fall in love with the process, not the outcome. Okay? We have to be ready to fall in love with the process. Because the outcome is not always going to be great. How many of us have had a time where things did not go well. All of us, I think the rest of you that didn't put your hand up just aren't listening. Or you're not doing enough. I don't know which, okay? So we played again and again and again and again until she started beating me because she got better. She improved. That's growth. That's abundance, right? It's the idea that just because something is the way it is today, it doesn't have to be like this forever. People wildly underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade and overestimate what they can accomplish in a year. I was on a podcast the other day, and this guy was talking about this Instagram reel he listened to, and it was this really young entrepreneur, like early 20s, 23, I think. And he goes, you can have everything you wanted. You just are not willing to do the hard thing and work really hard for 2 years. And he and I have both been in business for well over a decade. He's been in business for 2 decades. And I go, 2 years? If I had quit after 2 years, I would have missed out on most of the great things that I've gotten to do and experience in my career. And so I just want to encourage you, if you're new or you're starting out or you're starting something new or you're about to make a pivot, it takes a long time to get to success. It took me 10 years to be an overnight success. Okay, 10 years. Okay. The master's failed more times than the beginner has even tried. And that's why we need to make sure that we have the fear of failure out of our minds as we're going forward and as we're doing hard things. Okay, so social media. How many of you are on social media? Everyone raise your hand. Okay, we're all on social media. This is one of the most powerful tools of our entire lifetime. Okay, I have failed on social media many times. As you can see here, I have 25 views on this. Now, my friend Lori Harder, who has a podcast that has had 60 million downloads, okay, I'm talking to her, I'm like, it's scary. How many of you are scared to put stuff out on social media? Okay, some of you are not raising your hands. Are you scared to raise your hand? Okay, anybody scared of social media? Putting content. Okay, how many people are like, I don't really know what to say? Or, what if I say the wrong thing? Right? What if I say the wrong thing? What if I describe that thing wrong and then someone thinks I'm stupid? Right? Okay, I have those fears too. This is normal. What my friend Lori reframed this as she says, okay, Veena, if I invited you to talk to 25 investors in a classroom, would you do it? I was like, yeah, of course. That's like a lot of money there, a lot of relationships, a lot of connections. She goes, okay, well, 25 people watching your video is like having a classroom. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. She's like, so don't discount that. And then she says, okay, if you have 100 people, that's like a movie theater. If you have 250, 500 people, that's a small auditorium. And for me, that was enough of a reframe for me to say, oh, wait, okay, yes, these are vanity metrics. These don't matter. Okay? They don't matter. And I promise you they don't, because the only thing you're trying to do is talk to the one person who needs to hear your message at that time in your words from you. Okay? So don't stress about the vanity metrics, okay? I want to give you a case study on this. All right, this man right here, we lovingly call him the J-Pops or J-Pops. We now call him J Paparazzi. You'll see why in a minute. This is my dad. This man is about to be 71 years old on November 19th, okay? This is how good he is with technology. He'll send us group text to my sister and I. I'll be like, hey girls, just want to remind you that tomorrow is Halloween and it's going to be amazing. Happy Halloween. Love, Dad. And my sister and I are like, Dad, we know it's you. He's like, yeah, okay. And the next guy says, I'm so proud of you girls. Love, Dad. So he's not the most tech-savvy person that I've ever encountered in my entire life. On February 22nd of this year, okay, so like 6-7 months ago, he met this man, Dan Fleischman. Okay? Dan has spent $65 million on influencer marketing. Okay, 65 million. He's had over 110,000 paid posts on social media. Okay, so he knows a thing or two. So I bring my dad with me. Dan and I are speaking at an event, and I bring my dad with me just to come hang out. It was actually here in Arlington. And Dan is answering someone in the crowd's question. And the question was, I don't know what to post on social media. Okay? So Dan says, look, this algorithm will change 6 times by the time we leave here. You will never be able to hack an algorithm. Stop trying to do that. Instead, post the things that feel authentic to you. Document what you're doing. Because people want to know that, right? Like, you guys don't want to hear me sit here and talk about like cap rate compression in the Arizona submarket. If you're not invested in the Arizona submarket, or you're not in multifamily, or you don't care about cap rates, who cares about what I'm saying, right? But instead, if I'm showing you, hey, today I am doing something really, really boring, and I am on a spreadsheet all day, and I'm taking investor calls, and I'm documenting that, that's interesting for you. Because now you're seeing the things that I actually had to do to get to this next phase. Okay, so my dad's account, he decides to start posting on social media. Okay, so he meets Dan, starts posting on social media, and that's why he created @TheJPops as his Instagram account. And in his journey, he started out from 0 followers. 0 followers. Okay, and I have to tell you guys, this is even outdated now. Okay, pull up your phone, pull up your Instagram. Someone tell me how many followers he has right now. I think he's like past 36,000 followers right now. And by the way, this man has not spent a single dime on marketing. Here's what he posts, okay? He'll post a video he finds that someone sends him in like, are you guys in those like spam WhatsApp groups? Is that a thing for you guys? Or is it, I don't know if it's like only Indian people, because I'm in only Indian chat groups on there and I hate all of them. Okay, well, they send, like, the reason I hate them is they send nonstop memes and nonstop videos that, like, don't have any relevance. Okay, so this one happened to be this little parakeet pecking at a keyboard. This is the type of stuff that happens in these WhatsApp groups. So my dad takes it because he thinks it's hilarious, and then posts about, do you guys remember when CloudStrike went down earlier this year? So he adds his caption and posts about it. Lisa's like, yup, because she got stuck in Boston for like 5 days. So she remembers this. It's traumatic, I know. So he posts this. This is his first video that went viral. And he got 76,000 views on it, okay? So then he posts another video. This video got 3.1 million views, okay? This is actually at 8 million. But if you look at his Instagram today, he has what, 37,000 followers? 36.6 thousand followers, starting from 0, not spending $1. Okay? So all of this to say, would you want to talk to 8 million people? Yeah? Some of you are like, no. Those are like my introverts, I know this. Which, by the way, ironically enough, how many introverts in the room? Okay, it's okay, you can raise your hand. You can do this. Okay, all you introverts in the room. There is a huge market for people speaking to introverts, because introverts just by nature don't want to talk about being introverted. My sister is a huge introvert. I try to get her to take the reins and be the leader in the introvert space. She's like, no way. Absolutely no. This sounds like the worst thing ever. But she does speak on stages and she kills it and does amazing. So there's space for all of us here at the top, okay? And so you can get your message out to more people by leveraging social media properly. And my dad is absolutely no exception. Do you think he cares about what he posts on social media? No, he doesn't. Can you give me the next slide, please? One more. No, he doesn't, because he posts things like this. Okay? So this is also a fair warning that if you're ever around me and my dad is there, the J paparazzi comes out and he's like, oh, I like these candid photos. And I'm like, oh, Dad, can you at least like just think about not getting me at my worst angle possible? No, he doesn't care. So, you know, we love him anyway, and we let him come around us anyway. But it's dangerous to be around him. So why is the fear of overcoming failure more important today than it's ever been? Well, because look at what the economy is doing. Prices are still sky high. Despite inflation being at 2.4%, pricing is still high, right? 50% of Americans making $100,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. That's insane, because when I was a kid, making $100,000 meant you made it, right? How many of us grew up thinking that? Not anymore. $100,000 does not get very far anymore. I remember when I was young, I was like, Mom, I'm going to be successful one day, and I'm going to make $100,000, and it's going to be so easy. And my mom was like, child, no. Making $100,000 is really hard, and one day you're going to go out into the world, and you're going to see that it is harder than you think it is. And I was like, pfft. I was 14, so like I knew everything back then. I was like, that is definitely not true. Well, it turns out she was right. It was hard to make $100,000, and it's harder to make $1 million, and it's harder to make $10 million, but it's possible, and that's the most important part of that. It's possible, okay? You have to have a why so big that nothing is going to stop you from getting there, okay? In fact, 63% of Americans don't have $500 for an emergency expense. That means that most Americans you meet are one flat tire away from financial ruin and financial devastation. It's more important now than it's ever been to get educated, to get prepared. And if you guys think education is expensive, estimate the cost of ignorance. I promise you it is a whole lot more expensive, because I know, because I've been there. I didn't join a community. I didn't have a mentorship when I started. I did this the long, scenic route. I had to learn everything myself, because I thought what existed behind the paywall, right? Like a lot of these communities have a cost to join them. And I thought what was behind the payroll was like, what is NOI? And I was like, Veena, you're so much smarter than that. You can just Google what NOI is. And I was right, I did. But it's because I underestimated and miscalculated what the value was behind that paywall. Now I'm in those rooms because I'm invited to speak. I've earned my way into those rooms. And I am the biggest moron on the planet for not realizing what was behind those paywalls. Because what it actually is it's people who are like-minded. It's a mindset. It's your partners. It's the people who can help you get to the next level faster. It's the people that have already bet on themselves, so they already know that they're good. That's what exists behind those doors. That's why it's so important for us to join those communities that feel in alignment with us. And in fact, entrepreneurs who received mentorship increase our bottom line by 83%, compared to those who don't, who only increased by 16%. Did you guys know that? Because I didn't know that. As soon as I read this, do you know what I did? I went out and got mentors and coaches, and I made sure I had a whole team around me, because they're the ones that make me better. It's not about what you know. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. It's about the people that can say your name in a room full of opportunity when you are not there. That is your brand. Okay? So when I am not in a room, there are people that say, oh, multifamily, Veena, Jetti. Right? I want my name to be synonymous, ubiquitous. Right? And you guys want that too. Because those are the people that can make sure that you have opportunity that you couldn't access at that moment. That's why it's important. Okay? You have to be in the right rooms. I would say that this is the right room. Okay? Because the people in this room are the people that will help you get to the next level. Okay, so first here I have, well, we were in the right womb because this is my sister, so she's also my business partner. She's my baby sister. She's 3 years younger than me. So it was definitely relearning when we became partners how to not just boss her around in all aspects of our lives, but we've been working together for years. She's also my integrator, so she's the one that keeps the lights on and keeps everything running. I just think of the thing, and then she runs with it and does it, because I'm the visionary of our team. This is Nick the lawyer. Okay, anybody here raised money? Okay, a handful. Anybody here want to raise money? Okay, every hand should be up right now. Let's try it again. Anybody here want to raise money? Okay, here's why every hand has to be up. In order for any business to scale, any business, not real estate, not multifamily, any business to scale, You have to be able to raise capital. Whether it's debt, equity, doesn't matter. You have to be able to raise capital. Okay? When you think about going and raising capital, the very first thing we do is we call our securities attorney. Okay, now Nick is a securities attorney. His law firm also does trademark, business contracts, stuff like that. I've been working with him for over 15 years. He is hands down the best in the business, and you guys should go follow his Instagram because he does a lot of education around legal concepts that you guys can ask questions on, and he puts out a lot of content so he can respond to them and help you guys as you're building your way to needing to hire a securities attorney, okay? Because attorneys aren't cheap. They're expensive. I know, I've spent multiple seven figures on attorneys, okay? Over the course of my career, I've spent millions of dollars hiring attorneys. You want the best of the best, okay? Then here, this is my mindset coach. This is Rosie Noel. I know a few of you here have worked with her and coached with her. She's absolutely incredible. I try to work with her 5 days a week. Okay, that's how much I believe in managing mindset. I try to wake up every morning and coach with her first thing in the morning. That's how I want to start my day. Why? Because I know if I can show up as a better version of myself, I am going to be able to be a better mother, a better wife, a better leader, a better investor, a better partner, a better friend, right? I can show up in a much different, much more powerful, meaningful way for the people around me. And in turn, what happens? They show up better for me. So if you guys do not have a mindset coach, she does Clifton Strengths specifically. That test, that assessment has changed my life. It's the best one out there. It is different than all of the other ones, so I highly recommend taking it. I, in fact, use it in our company with our teams as well. I made my husband take it, and we did team grid to see why he can't predict things into the future. Well, it turns out he's low strategic and drives me nuts. But I'm like, okay, this is just not your gift, babe. But it's mine, and you married me, so you bring me the problems, and I'll tell you how we solve them, then you go execute on them, right? But that's how we have a really strong partnership. We just celebrated last week, we just celebrated 12 years of marriage. Thank you. I think I'm going to keep him a little longer. And then this right here is Carolyn Briley. She is local to Dallas. So if you don't know her, you should definitely connect with her. She runs a lot of real estate communities here locally. She's one of our really good friends now, but she's also partnered with me on almost $200 million worth of deals. Okay, and she just started 3 or 4 years ago. She owns 70 doors in her own portfolio and then is partnered with me across multiple multifamily assets. That's the power of what you can do when you're in the right rooms. Okay, I met her in the bathroom. Okay, some of my other really close friends and best friends and partners and people that I work with, I met them on airplanes. Okay, I'm the annoying person next to you that will talk to you the whole entire flight, and I'm not even sorry. I'm not even sorry. But I've met some of my best friends that way. I've had some of the most amazing experiences because of the people that I've sat next to. So I look for everyone as an opportunity to connect, to grow, and how do I build that relationship? Do I go and go, hey, do you want to invest in my deal and write me a check? No. I go, hey, what are you working on and how can I help you? Who do I have in my network that I can connect you to? What knowledge do I have that I can connect you to? Okay, and this is how you build relationships, and this is how you add value to people. So I encourage you guys to remember that if you're not being valued in the space that you're in the wrong rooms. Okay, when you start out, if you're going to join a community like Tommy's community, right? Many of you, and this is especially true in black and brown communities, okay? White communities are not as, they don't show up the same way, right? But in black and brown communities, the first things that you are going to hear when you tell your friends and family this is, what? That's a scam. You can't do that, right? And it's true. I've spoken, last year I spoke on over 110 stages. So I have a lot of data points around this, okay? But black and brown communities do not think that there's value in mentorship. And we have to change that narrative if we are going to break the stereotypes of what private equity looks like today. and we have to do it with each other. And the reason that your friends and family will say this to you is because they haven't worked on their mindset. They can't imagine that this could be true. And I'm not saying that like every mentorship is a good idea, because there certainly are ones that I think probably are scams, right? But you need to do your research, talk to other people in those communities, find out if it's something that aligns with you, right? And then move forward. Okay, Eleanor Roosevelt said that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And so I challenge each one of you today to take a hold of your future, take a hold of your dreams. Okay, follow them. Meet your 3 goals every day. Share those 3 goals on social media, right? I've just given you content, right? If you're meeting your 3 goals every day, you can put 3 pieces of content out. And by the way, ladies, show up without makeup. Show up without your hair done. It's okay if your house is not perfect, okay? These are pressures that are put on us by society, and they're stupid. So, oh, they're playing me off the stage. They're like, Veena, let's go, let's go. But put your content out there. It matters. It's important. We need more representation. We need more diversity. We need to represent these spaces. So please, please, please do the thing that's hard. Fail forward and take a hold of your dreams in the future. I'm Veena, Jetti. Thank you so much for having me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you.